Hi, and welcome to Newswire LA. I'm your host, Chin Thomasangsi. Tonight, we're going to bring you our Election 2012 wrap up show. That and more after this. We at Newswire LA spent this election season taking you deep into the issues. Admittedly, while everyone else was watching the presidential race, we were watching the County of Los Angeles race for district attorney. You might ask why. Well, the reason is it was the most important local race no one was watching. Newswire LA brought our viewers over 5.5 hours of news coverage of this particular election. Now that the race is over and the winner has been named, we're going to take a look back at how we got from there to here. Let's start with the reports filed by our Jamie Wright, and we'll end with a look at all of the important federal, state, and local races. That will include all state propositions and local measures. And without further delay, let's go to our Jamie Wright, who's starting off our highlight show with Alan Jackson.
Good morning and welcome to Newswire Los Angeles. I am attorney Jamie Wright, your host and reporter. This morning we sit down with prosecutor Alan Jackson. He is a candidate for the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office up against ADA Jackie Lacey in this November's election. What prompted you to join the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office?
Well, Jamie, I guess we'd have to go back in history a little bit to my youth. I was born in Texas. I've been here for about 20 years, but I was actually raised by a single mom in Texas. And I was originally born into a military family. My father was a career military man himself. And so I guess the best answer to that question is public service has been in my genes since I was a little boy. Then joined the military myself when I was 17, committed to the Air Force for 4 years and spent 4 years in the service. Subsequent there too, I went to the University of Texas and then went on to law school. And the entire time I was sort of getting my higher education, public service was always in the background. It was always something that I wanted to consider and wanted to expand upon. And once I started the law school process, as you know, there's lots and lots of learning in law school, and it's not just legal learning. It's learning about yourself, learning about your life, what career choices you want to make. And there was no question that I wanted to be in government service once I got my law degree and passed the bar. The DA's office was the perfect fit, and I have been extremely happy to be in the DA's office for the last 17 years and counting. I couldn't have been happier with my decision, and I hope that there's another 17 years left for me.
Okay. And then let's talk about the fact that you are from Texas, which is, a southern state, and you have been in public service your entire life.
Right.
Los Angeles County is a really diverse county.
It is.
It is one of the largest in the nation.
It is the largest in the nation.
Yes, it is the largest in the nation.
Absolutely.
How would your background, or is there something you could point to in your background that would make you the successful chief legal prosecutor in such a large and diverse county?
I think all of my background is going to make me a successful leader. I don't think you can parse out single moments in time in someone's background that makes that person a good leader. I think you have to take the totality of who the person is. And being raised by a single mom, I understand what it is to struggle a little bit. I understand what it is to speak to a community that might have struggles. Also, concomitant to that, having a law degree allows me to sort of look at an overview of the county from a legal perspective, from a prosecutor's perspective, and see what it is that the county truly needs. having spent 17 years in the courtroom, and Jamie, I think that's extremely important. My background is a background of a prosecutor, a leader in the courtroom. Having spent 17 years in the courtroom, I've been speaking to a very diverse Los Angeles County constituency, communities, if you will, one jury at a time for 17 years nonstop. I understand what it is that the communities want insofar as public safety is concerned. I understand what they want from their public safety officials. I understand what they want from their leadership, and I understand what they expect. It's all of that background taken together that I think will well position me to lead the office forward and to modernize the district attorney's office in terms of and under the rubric of a true prosecutor's vision for public safety.
You state in your materials that you will communicate with the community and parents and children about violent crime.
Correct.
How do you go about putting in place a strategy, you being the chief prosecutor, being, in a different sort of social setting as opposed to individuals you're speaking with? How do you bridge that gap?
Through our deputies.
Okay.
I think we do it through our deputies. We have liaisons within the office, and we build a policy within the office of using those 1,000 lawyers that I talked to you about a second ago, and making sure that the folks that are literally populating the courtrooms in 22 different branch and area courts throughout the county, they are acting as a liaison to their own community members, folks that are in positions of authority, in education, folks that are having trouble raising their own child, parents. We have to act in a way that promotes communication. I think that's the key. If we can promote communication, we can start getting to the heart of why kids are joining gangs in the first place. And that's an extraordinarily important aspect of what we do. I'll give you a little anecdote if you'll allow me.
Yeah.
Working in Compton for more than 5 years, about 5.5 years, I was prosecuting the worst of the worst gang members over and over and over and over, one line of cases after another. And so I really learned to cut my teeth on prosecuting gang cases in Compton, in the Compton courthouse. I met dozens and dozens and dozens of little kids, children, 10, 11-year-old little kids, 13-year-old little kids, through the course of my prosecutions, meeting victims' family members, meeting defendants' family members, etc. I never met one child, Jamie, not one, who told me they went home at night and dropped to their knees and prayed to their God that they would grow up and be a gang member. Not one child. But I met dozens who thought they had no other opportunity, no other alternative, no other choice. We're there to give them that choice. And if we can start to do that from the front end, give kids opportunities and alternatives that they don't think they have through interagency coordination, through community coordination, if we can do that, we can save that child from ever joining the gang in the first place. And isn't that what we're here for? Secondarily, we can prosecute the gang members who do prey on the communities in which they live. There's nobody better at that than I am. I literally wrote the book on modern prosecutions of gangs. I know how to prosecute a gang. I know how to take a gang down, not just a gang member, but a gang down. It's that sort of coordinated effort, stopping kids from joining gangs in the first place and robustly and assertively prosecuting the gang members that are preying on the community. It's that sort of combined approach that I think will serve to lower the violent crime rate here in Los Angeles.
Leading up to the June primary, there was a lot of media presumption that it would be a Carmen Trutanic, Alan Jackson race. It has now shifted to a Jackie Lacey, Alan Jackson race. How has that been a game changer for you in terms of your campaign strategy?
Well, Jamie, you're exactly right. There was a lot of folks who believed, because of the momentum, the campaign momentum that Carmen Trutanic sort of had going into the June 5th election, that he was the presumptive winner. He was expected to outperform every other candidate. We internally knew that we were doing everything right. We truly believed that we had the right strategy and the right goals. Can I say that I was a soothsayer and saw this coming? No, I can't say that. I wouldn't say that. But we certainly felt very comfortable that we would get into the runoff. Now that it's a runoff between Jackie Lacey and myself, it's going to be a different campaign. It has to be a different campaign because there are different personalities involved. But I look very forward to a robust discussion about the issues and the qualifications of each candidate. I think as we move toward the election, and you've touched on this a couple of times during this interview, there are some true distinctions between myself and Miss Lacey, and the voters are going to have a very, very clear choice to make. Are they going to want someone who has been in management most of the last couple of decades and has not been in a courtroom in the last couple of decades versus a battle-tested veteran prosecutor who's been in the courtroom as recently as a year ago? That's going to help define how we run our campaign, because the issues are going to be relatively clear, relatively straightforward. That's been the game changer.
And now, a debate highlight moment with Alan Jackson.
Miss Lacey is absolutely wrong. She's just dead wrong. It is not the correct policy. The state law, the initiative, the ballot initiative, is not the policy that we currently have in the district attorney's office. We can use our discretion. It's been a long time since Miss Lacey's been in the courtroom. Maybe she's forgotten that certain circumstances require that we will, in fact, use our discretion. Head deputies throughout this county, head deputy DAs, are asked on a consistent basis, can we seek a third strike sentence even though the policy is, the presumptive policy is, that we won't? Can we deviate in this particular circumstance? In fact, if I had someone, and if the office had someone that was previously convicted of attempted murder, assault on a police officer, maybe another attempt of some kind of violent attempt, and that person is now caught walking down the street with a deadly weapon. The deadly weapon is an N3 felony. The deadly weapon is a non-serious, non-violent felony. But that might be a circumstance we would seek a 25-year life sentence. And under this new proposition, we would be foreclosed from doing so. That's why I don't agree with the proposition.
Good morning, Mrs. Lacey. How are you?
Good morning, Jamie. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for stopping to talk to us. We appreciate it, and inviting us into your home.
You're welcome.
I have a couple questions for you. The first being, as an attorney and someone who went to law school, obviously the degree is very versatile. What prompted you to go into public service and join the DA's office?
Well, I would love to say that I knew what I was getting into before I started, but my first job, Jamie, was working for a very small firm that did entertainment law. And I was stuck in an office one day doing depositions where they were asking the same questions over and over again. And I thought, you know what, this is boring. I can't do this for the rest of my life. And a friend told me about a position that was open at the Santa Monica City Attorney's Office as a prosecutor. And I applied and got in, and really to escape my other job. But then I learned that this was really what I was supposed to do, that I was born to be a trial lawyer, to be a prosecutor, and that's really how it happened for me.
Okay. And what does it mean to be born to be a trial attorney or a prosecutor?
Well, I think that my view is that we're all here for a particular purpose in life, and we're all here to serve in some capacity. For me, once I got into the DA's office, which is what I did after I left the Santa Monica City Attorney's office, I discovered that I really enjoyed criminal law, that I enjoyed doing this kind of work, and that I was good at it. And those two combinations of things led me to believe that there was something about my personality, my background, my DNA that worked well with prosecuting cases.
So let's talk about your role as a manager. One of the things that your opponent seems to really be honing in on is the fact that managerial skills, or even as he calls it, bureaucratic skills, are not what are a major asset to becoming the DA. How would you respond to that criticism or discussion?
Well, first of all, the skills that I have are not bureaucratic skills. They are not administrative skills. The chief deputy is an executive officer. In other words, I set policy, and the policy gets carried out by others. The district attorney of LA County, the last few that have been elected, I know them, and they are not going to court. They are about running the business of this office so that the 1,000 lawyers that we have can do their job. And while it is good to have experience in the courtroom and valuable, and I have that, in order to understand how to motivate, inspire, train lawyers and support them, you have to know a lot about the business end of it. If the elected district attorney of LA County is going into court, which this one never has since he's been DA, nor has his predecessor, something's wrong.
Okay.
And that's why that's a myth to think that, well, I'm fresh from the courtroom, so I'm ready to jump up the ladder 7 ranks and run the office.
Okay. So are you tough on crime?
Definitely. Do not commit violent crime. It chafes my hide.
Okay.
When I was a prosecutor, I loved to have the opponent underestimate me because they had no idea how driven I was. I have a very calm demeanor. But rest assured that if someone commits a violent crime, if someone harms someone, if someone breaks the law, and they commit a serious crime against this community, I have no problem making them pay.
Okay. All right. And then, as a woman, you obviously, holding such a high-ranking position, people talk a lot about work-life balance. And how would you be able to balance all the responsibilities that you have?
Well, the same way my predecessors have, right? You set your priorities. What's important for you to do personally, you do. But those things that are not personally, you rely on friends and outsource a lot of things that you traditionally would do. I obviously, won't be cooking Christmas dinner this year. But you know what? My son is in culinary school, so I've told him, guess what? You're going to be you're going to cook Christmas dinner this year because I'm going to be busy in December. But I think that this is something as a woman, when you're a mom, I'm a mom of 2 kids. I've actually mothered 3 kids, and I did that during the time that I was trying some of my more serious, high-profile cases. And you get through that by learning to prioritize, by learning to, to carpool. You learn the value of trading, your time with another person's time. You learn to reach out, and I think that's one of the best things. I often say that during the time that I was trying my most serious murder cases, I had 3 children in my household who were 14, 16, and 18 years old.
Teenagers.
That's right. And during that time, I was trying my most serious cases. I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, and during that time, my cases were all tried successfully. My children and my nephew all graduated from high school on time. I didn't miss many games at all. It was always there. And so it can be done. And being the DA of LA County, it's my honor to make it work. And I will.
Okay. And are you a faith-based person?
I am.
Do you ever feel conflicted by anything in the law? I mean, oftentimes you see movies like The Devil's Advocate portraying lawyers as being satanic or evil. Do you ever feel conflicted, and how do you deal with that conflict?
Well, my faith, my beliefs really help me. I don't feel conflicted. I realize that I am where I am because of the faith that my mother and my grandmother and my father had. And my faith energizes me because I rely on